guys, Ty's in the kitchen, and I am going to start working on my ribs for New Year. So I'm going to put them in a pot and parboil them for probably about 10 minutes. My pot may not be large enough, but I'm gonna make it work. My mother would get me, and she said, "Why you didn't get out the larger pot?" Because I didn't want to. I just didn't want to. So I have washed and salted these ribs. They were in the fridge for 24 hours. I just had salt on them, and I'm gonna let them parboil for, like I said, about 10 minutes or so. And I was using my gloves, my plastic gloves versus the tongs, trying to be one of those modern cooks so that I don't have to do as many dishes, because I was going to be a lot of dishes to be done. So as you can see, I've got a pot full of ribs now. I'm going to let them parboil, and then I'm going to whip up some sauce, and then I'm going to put them in the oven and let them bake slowly. So they should be really, really good. So let me put my lid on here, and we'll be back in just a moment and see how things are going with these ribs. The ribs are now have been parboiled, and I've got them in a casserole dish, and I have taken my AC Gold, which is the Caroline white, and I have mixed it with the All Day barbecue sauce. And these sauces are by AC Barbecue, which is Anthony Anderson and Cedric the Entertainer. So I've got my barbecue sauce already mixed together. And the only thing that I added to the barbecue sauce was a little water so that I could thin it out some. And I added some pepper, onion, garlic powder, and some honey. So I wanted a little honey to give it just a little sweetness, but it's not really sweet. But the Caroline wine is a mustard base barbecue sauce, so I needed to sort of mild that out a little bit, and the All Day just wasn't going to mild it out enough, so I mixed them together, added a little bit of honey along with the black pepper and the onion and garlic powder. So I'm gonna probably kind of spoon this over, and then I'm going to use my brush. The barbecue sauce is nice and thick. I was really quite surprised at how thick it was. And so that's another reason why I actually added some water to the barbecue sauce, because I wanted it to thin out a little bit. But as you can see, and I kept adding more barbecue sauce back too. You know how that goes when you're a cook. But you can see that it's still not thin. It's not thin at all. Well, I said I was going to use my brush. I think I'll only be using the brush right before I put it in the oven, because this is really good. It smells good. I can't wait to try it. I'm working on these ribs for the new year, because I always have ribs for the new year. I'm Southern, and that's part of my Southern tradition, is to have ribs for the new year. So, well, I won't even need my brush. Isn't that nice? That's one less thing I have to wash. You're going to be able to see that. And the fact that I don't need the brush is going to show you again just the thickness of the barbecue sauce. Because like I said, I put some water in here so that I could thin it out some. But then I added back in some more barbecue sauce. But I didn't add any more water in. And you saw me... I'll show you again. You see how you think it's thin, but it's not. It actually is not. And I'm going to show you the barbecue sauce on the ribs, and you'll see exactly what I mean when I say it's not thin. You see how nicely I've coated the ribs, and you'll see the sauce is not thin even though I mixed some water with it. So for those folks who sometimes say the barbecue sauce is a little too thin for them, or if they think it's a little thick, I think this one is just right, because again, I mixed in some water added my, garlic and my onion powder and my honey and, like I said, the water with the two. But you can see this is still thick. It is still thick, so it should be wonderful when I take it out the oven. I'm going to put this in the oven, and I'm going to cook it on 300 for probably about an hour. Probably about an hour. I want them to be really tender, and then we'll take a look at them and see what we got. Well, the ribs are out of the oven, and I want you guys to see them. So I'm putting my mittens on because they are fresh out of the oven. I want you to see what they look like. You can see that these are more of a reddish tint. I did some other ones for my sister Angelia, and that was with the Caroline gold, so they were golden looking. But these are more of the red, which most people are accustomed to seeing. They smell great. I had them in the oven for probably about an hour and 30 some minutes. They were done. I'd already tested them. They're done at, between like 180 and I think like 200. But I just wanted them to be more tender just for me. So I just left them in the oven. So they are hot. So I'm trying to figure out which one am I going to try because they're so hot, I'm not able to pick them up. So I think I'm going to try this one right here. Because like I said, they are right out of the oven. So I don't want to burn my finger, but I do want to try them. They smell good. So I'm just slicing some ribs so that I'll be able to try them. Okay, and it's steaming. So let's see. So you see I've sliced my rib. You can't see the steam, but I can see it. So I'm gonna blow. I like them. I like them. How can I describe it? I added what I would normally add, which is the garlic and the black pepper and the onion powder. And I put a little honey. And so it melted out, the honey melted out the Caroline Gold. I will say this, they're not spicy. Because I didn't put much pepper in there because I didn't know how that black pepper, normally I would put a little bit of crushed pepper in them, red pepper, but I didn't know how it would meld with everything. I think the next time that I try it, I will add a little red pepper, and I think, and what I'm going to do as far as the ratios, I think the next time I'm going to go more Carolina Gold, and see I'm back and forth on them because I like them both, but I think I'm going to go more, y'all excuse me just one moment, bite this here, the Carolina Gold, because that's the first one that I tasted. I like them both, but I sort of want that flavor now. And that's, go figure. But I like them both. But I think the next time I mix them though, I'm gonna go more Carolina Gold, less of the, let me show you the bottle, because you don't even know what I'm talking about. It's just like you invite people over and you're talking with your mouth full, and I'm just talking like you know what I'm talking about. Next time, I'm gonna go, when I mix them, I think I'm gonna put more Carolina Gold, and I'm gonna put less all day. But then, it probably depends upon how I'm feeling. So what I'm saying to you guys is this: if you're mixing them, mix it up. One time go more all day, the next time go more golden. Just a matter of how you're feeling that particular day. I like them both. So I have tried them, mixing them together. I've had this by itself with some ribs that I made for my sister Angelia. So they're good regardless. So you know what you need to do. Get you some AC barbecue and tell them that Dr. Taz, or Taz in the Kitchen that is, sent you. Bye now.